Wealth in real estate is not built by accident, it's built by design. And there is a big difference between the agents who burn out and the ones who use what they do to create freedom. And it's not just how hard you work, it's what you think, what you focus on, and the leverage you build into your life. Today, I'm sitting down with Lisa Wray. She's a 4-time icon agent, a real estate investor, and living proof that you can go from starting over with $200 in your pocket to owning multiple investment properties and building legitimate generational wealth. In this conversation, you are going to learn exactly how she scaled to the top 1% without losing her life to the business, the exact ways she invests in real estate to build her net worth, and the mindset shifts that make it all possible. Thanks for being here, everyone. I'm Linnea Carver. I am a strategist and a coach for high-achieving leaders who are done following the generic playbook. My mission is to help you scale without burning out. And if that's the path you're on, I am so glad you're here. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future content.
Hit the nail on the head, honestly. When I teach, so many of those people are first generational home buyers. Many of them can't buy right away. Some of them are not quite ready. I've lost a home in foreclosure. I've filed for bankruptcy in my early 20s. My husband was injured on the job. We lost our house. We lost everything.
I got my icon, so I got stock. I used that stock to buy properties, which is bringing me more income, right?
Absolutely. I've had the same transaction coordinator for 5 years, and she's priceless. I can text her no matter where I'm at, on the road, whatever. Hey, can you do this? And she does it. Just know that if it's hard today, that doesn't mean tomorrow will be.
And let's get right into this awesome conversation. Lisa, we're here.
Happy to be here today.
Thanks for having me on your show. Thanks for coming on my show. The whole point of my my YouTube show, this particular piece, is I want to highlight people who are in the top 1% of their field. Because I think to be in the top 1%, there's a different sort of thinking, a different sort of mindset, and also just a different sort of daily routine and activity. And I know that people want to get there. So, and I think, in the real estate space, there's more than one way to be a top 1% agent, right?
Sure.
There's so many different ways to do it. And so I think, but that's why I wanted to have you on, because I love what you do. I love your approach to business. I love your story. And I think other people should hear it too. So they know you didn't just wake up being the amazing Lisa Wray, 4 times icon, top 1% agent. You didn't just wake up like this. And so I think I want to hear your story. So if you could, introduce yourself, where you're from, all the good stuff.
Okay, awesome. I sure will. So I'm from Seattle originally, but traveled all over the place because my dad was a preacher and then missionary. So part of my childhood was actually in Central America. So
Cool.
Yeah. And then I spent 17 years in Lexington, Kentucky, and thought I would live there the rest of my life. But life had a way of changing. And I ended up coming back home to Washington State, where I had a lot of family members here. So when I did that, I had $200 in my pocket, 4 children, and 12 suitcases. I had a complete restart. And it wasn't the first time I'd been knocked down, but it was certainly a very big turning point in my life. So restarting took some time, right? So I worked for Starbucks for 7 years as a supervisor. I went back to school. So I went to Pierce College and then UW-T. And then I thought I wanted to manage a Starbucks store, and it just didn't work out. Things just kept not falling into place. And so thankfully, I got a job at a real estate company as their office manager. And it opened doors for me. There was a whole education that I received because they also did property management, and we managed over 200 doors. And I got to know these owners of these investment properties, and some of them were adding to their portfolio fairly quickly. And I was fascinated by it because I got to know them and knew that they weren't making that much more than the average person. and they were still able to purchase real estate. And I had known people throughout my life who had owned rental properties, and I knew they did pretty well. Like they were set because of that equity that they were building while they were also, while they were collecting rent and hopefully cash flowing, right? So then I also was seeing every single real estate file that came through our office. I was auditing them for the correct forms, et cetera. And so I was seeing what these real estate agents were making, and I saw their work ethic because they were in the office every day. And at the time, this is just the cold hard facts. What I was making there as the office manager didn't even pay my rent in Washington State. I had to have an adult son living with me help share the expenses of our apartment. And I decided to go ahead and get my real estate license. And it was the best thing that ever happened, honestly, in my life, because there's no glass ceiling. And everywhere else that I had worked, I was still the hardest worker in the room. And I'm not patting myself on the back. There's so many of us out there that we work so hard and we feel like we're never going to get ahead, right? We give it our all, we do the things, and we still end up having those financial struggles. So right out of the gate, I sold a couple houses. A couple friends trusted me with their listings, which was awesome. Thank you to them.
Hey, friends, love you.
Right.
I'm always grateful for my first few, because they were definitely friends or people that I knew, and I owe them so much because they really helped my career launch. So I totally relate to that feeling.
Yes, I honestly am forever grateful for them. So then I was still the office manager, and the owner of that company did not want to lose me as the office manager. And he gave me a choice. He said, you can either stay and be my office manager, or you can go ahead and do real estate, one or the other. He said, you're going to have to, if you stay the office manager, you're going to have to refer all your business out. And I said, I'm not going to make 25% off of my client, my potential clients. So I surprised him and left as the office manager. Yes.
You just surprised him. Surprise!
So I got another job selling garage doors for 6 months, maybe 7. Okay. And at the same time, my husband moved to town. My now husband moved to town, and we purchased our first duplex together. And we gutted one side, went ahead and did the physical labor of putting that back together. A few months later, we were able to buy another duplex, did the same thing. And so then we were investing, plus I was doing real estate. But the real game changer for my career was when I joined EXP. There's no denying it. In 2019, I joined EXP in April. One of my original contacts or real estate buddies invited me to EXP. And I'm very thankful for that as well. So they had the education that I was missing. I needed to know how to sell real estate. So they were also offering leads through OpCity, which is a realtor.com division. Okay. And I was able to take those leads. And some of my mentors were like, those are super crappy leads. Like, we're not going to waste our time with them. Well, I just wanted to meet people. And so I took every single lead that I could. And then I started teaching I actually started teaching homebuyer classes ahead of that. So there were some consistent activities. I was holding open houses. I was teaching the classes. I was taking all the leads. I wanted to be in front of as many people as I could, because I saw a lot of agents get into the business and they just couldn't gain traction for some reason. And it was because they felt like if somebody said they wanted to transact, they believed them. And what we know about sales, any kind of sales, is it takes a tremendous amount of communicating with a lot of people in order to get one deal closed. And so I didn't lose sight of that. And the first year I was in EXP, I think I sold 11 houses that year. And then the following year, I missed Icon by one, maybe two
Oh, I did that my
transactions.
first year at EXP, like 1 or 2 deals. Oh, God, I know the feeling so well. It's so close.
And I wasn't,
Yet so far away.
right? I know. And so then I was determined not to let that happen again.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
So,
started tracking.
so can you real quick? There's two things I want to touch on
Yes.
before we go further, and you can keep finishing, but I just want to put these out there. Number of properties. I'd like to know. Like, I want to remember how many properties you have now, because you
Okay.
had one
Uh-huh.
duplex, and I'm just curious how many you have now, and then as you continue telling your story about EXP, can you share? Do you set money aside from each compensation, each commission check that you get? Like, I'd love to know kind of like your plan for that. Because a lot of people that I'm talking to on this show are real estate investors. And I'm finding that every single one has a different methodology and it works for every single person, which is really relevant to real estate.
Yes.
Everything freaking works. It's just a matter of you deciding which method you're going to commit to. So I'd love to hear that as you kind of go on.
So we have 8 doors right now.
Okay.
And I say that kind of hesitantly because we're in the process of, we just got rid of one, bought another one. We're remodeling a duplex right now that we're going to sell. And then we plan on purchasing more duplexes in Texas. And so the last purchase, we paid cash because we had sold a midterm rental that we had here in Gig Harbor. And it kind of evolves, Linnea, to be honest with you. So it's not like I set aside a certain percentage. We just have a goal of continuing to add to that portfolio, and we're very serious about it. So every year we would like to add 2 doors at least. And what happens is we have a budget with our personal finances, and then the excess of what I make with my commissions, a lot of times that goes towards down payment. So, but there's other ways of doing it as well. And so we've been creative and putting together money. For instance, I love to tell this story. We have an Airbnb in St. Thomas, and I pulled stock from my EXP stock in order to have the down payment. I just pulled stock again to put with the money that we'd gotten from that sale of that condo to pay cash for a purchase. So it's not always the same. It just depends on what the property is, where it's at, what do we have in hand right then, but the push is always there. And having a partner that is on board with that is very important. I've met other people who are interested. In fact, one of my lenders, they just purchased their first property this past year, and thankful that they used me as their agent, which was a super big honor because I know they know everybody. But the wife was not on board at first, and it took some time for her to get comfortable with it. And it's important that everyone's on the same page, or willing to be, to try to get there, right? So
I love that. So you have 8 doors. Are they all duplexes?
no, not at all.
So you have short terms, long terms,
midterms. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you define a midterm?
Midterm is a shorter lease. So it can be a 90-day lease. 2 of the properties that we own require a 90-day occupancy. So I would like to have longer tenants, and it's worked out that way, that they didn't want to leave, and so they stayed. And so I'm not opposed to that, because that turnover month is a loss of income, right? So the longer they stay, the better it is. And then we have 2 short-term rentals, one in Florida and one in St. Thomas. So those are not self-managed. I can't do that on top of my production. So
I don't blame you. Yeah. I don't blame you. Okay, so let's go back to the EXP shift, because you said another cool thing, like you used EXP stock.
Yes.
To help you buy them, and that's where I think that's because you were kind of telling about how you went through 11 homes to, what did you sell the year you missed Icon by 1, and then what was the following year for you?
Boy, I almost should look it up. Do you have a second? And then I can tell the truth about this, because I really want to. Let me just pull this
Yeah.
up.
I love that when it's like, I think I sold this. I get that.
I don't want somebody to check me later and think I lied, because I don't want that. I really want to come to the table with the facts here.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
something
But
that I should know, and I just
I mean, you have a lot of other things you're remembering, so I think it's okay.
right.
But I think people kind of like, there's a lot of things when it, and even though, this audience is probably mostly real estate agents, but at some point we'll probably expand into other areas. I think people like need to look at those sort of things as like, especially a brokerage, for example. There's a lot of brokerages out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of brokerages out there, and I think depending on who you talk to, people are going to have good and bad stories about every brokerage out there. But I think yours of this is what it like. You're going to tell the other piece of it now in just a second, but this is one thing that your brokerage has done for you. Our brokerage has done for you, has helped you have this type of freedom, and I don't think people put those together ever.
Right.
Like I don't know that I've ever put that together.
Well,
and I've been at EXP for 4 years, so I don't know that I've ever put that together until you just said that. So, yeah. So I think it's important.
Well, there's so many benefits, and I'm a firm believer in multiple streams of income. I've always lived that way, to be honest with you. So from very early on, I was doing side jobs, even as a young mom. I was cleaning buildings, and I had paper routes. I did whatever I could to add to that bottom line. And again, I'm just so thankful to finally be in an industry that building wealth is a legitimate thing, right? And creating generational wealth.
Well, it's true. And I think the other thing is like a lot of real estate agents, and you probably know this too, do not invest in real estate.
The vast majority.
Yeah. And I'm currently one of those, and that's changing. That's changing. I'm declaring that right now.
Good.
And it's not for lack of not wanting. It's just for a lack of, we're just figuring out the way that's going to work for us. But a lot of real estate agents don't invest in real estate. And I think like you're doing this. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I would bet that part of the reason that you have so much success with the transactional side of your business is because you firmly believe in the power of what you're doing, because it's impacted your own personal life versus just the concept or the theory behind why owning real estate is a good thing. You're like, no, it actually is. And so there's probably a different level of passion there than before.
You hit the nail on the head. Honestly, when I teach my first time homebuyer classes, so many of those people are first generational home buyers.
Okay.
And many of them can't buy right away. Some of them are not quite ready. And so I really try to tell them my story. And I've lost a home in foreclosure. I've filed for bankruptcy in my early 20s. My husband was injured on the job. We lost our house. We lost everything. So I've experienced these extreme situations in my life, for lack of a better word. And the more times that you've had to be resilient and you build on that, and you know that there's a brighter day coming, the more passionate you are about helping other people through those times, I believe. And so I want to use that for the good. And so when I tell my story in my classes, it is sometimes I tear up, because it's like, I want them to realize that no matter where they're at, I've been there, chances are. And it's not the end of the story. It's not the last day. We can get up today and make a move towards a better future. And I believe I teach my kids that. Hopefully my grandchildren will have that. And hopefully I can impact as many people as possible through those outreaches of other agents, other, home buyers. And I want to see them succeed so badly. So another part of the class, even though it's not in the curriculum because I teach state classes, right? Is I tell them briefly about how you can use the equity in your home to purchase your second home. And I tell them, hey, listen, even if you don't use me as your agent, which is fine, totally fine, remember this. And when you get to that point, reach out to me. Save my contact information. I'd love to help you do that. If you have questions about it, I'm currently doing it. I believe in it. We can help unlock that next step for you.
One of the other ladies that I talked to, she has 90 properties.
Wow,
She went,
I love that.
yeah, she
Love
went to
it.
90. Yeah, I was just like, holy cow! She went to 90 properties in 5 years.
That's amazing.
Isn't
You need
that
to
cool?
connect us.
Yeah,
I
I'll
want to
connect you
pick her
for sure.
brain.
Yeah, yeah, I'll connect you for sure. She 90 properties in 5 years, and it's just really powerful to hear her story
Yeah,
and how she now uses that story to educate real estate agents
absolutely.
on how to build wealth for themselves,
That's
right? So,
wonderful.
do any of your kids, your adult kids, do they own properties at all? Oh, they do too. So you're like passing it down.
Yes,
That's true generational wealth right
yes,
there.
absolutely.
That's so cool. That's so cool. What was the age that they bought their first property?
Um, I bet Teresa was she was early 20s. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's pretty young. And is it her own property or is it an investment property?
It's her own.
See?
They've bought and sold, and I've helped them with those transactions as well.
There you go.
So
There's now it's her second house.
maybe third or
Maybe.
fourth. Yeah, at
Wow.
this
In
point.
her early 20s?
Well, now she's 32.
Oh, got it. Got it.
So,
Okay.
but the other thing that I have one child that is needs a little extra help, and it's heavy on my heart to buy a duplex and have him stay in one side, teach him to manage the other possibly. It's definitely high on my list of things to do.
That's like a cool lesson. I remember, I think I never have any regrets in life. I don't believe there should ever be regrets. If I were to choose one,
Uh-huh.
it would be not buying a property when I was 18 and I was looking for a property.
Right.
I had $10,000 that I could and when I was 18, $10,000
It's a lot of money.
could have it could have brought a nice property that today could have been, worth significantly more if you look at inflation since the time I was 18. I don't even remember what year that was. I think it was 1997, like that long ago. And I remember there were two particular homes that I was looking at, and one of them was a complete fixer.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the thing of having my grandfather come and look. I didn't know any better.
Right.
I didn't know any better. I didn't know that I shouldn't have my father or my grandfather look at the home.
No, that's what we're taught to do.
Yeah. I didn't know that, that was probably the wrong person to look at the home. Because of course, oh gosh, everything's gonna horrible. You gotta gut the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that house today, so I look at it, it's over kind of on the Des Moines Marina.
Oh,
So it was up on the hill overlooking the water. It had these beautiful bay windows. And yeah, it was probably needed to be completely gutted. And I don't know where I would have figured out the money to remodel it, but I had enough money to buy it.
right.
I had enough money to buy it. My grandfather was the one who talked me out of it.
Wow.
So if I were to choose one thing that I regret, it would be not buying that one home when I was 18.
Right.
Yep.
My dad has definitely been like, are you sure you're okay to when we started buying multiples, he's like, are you sure that you can, do this? And so
yeah, it's that generational thing. It's like, even like, because we're the generation, I think, that kind of started the generational wealth feeling.
I think so.
The movement. I
really
don't think that was
Mhm.
the generation before us. I don't think that's our parents' generation. Because my mom maybe.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's kind of an entrepreneur. I mean, my mom's definitely an entrepreneur. But yeah, my dad sometimes will ask me, "Are you making enough money, honey?" Yeah, that's great, Dad. Never grow up. I'm always going to be a
doing
kid.
okay.
Yep. He's always going to be a kid. Okay, so let's go back to your the year you missed Icon.
Yes, let me see what that date would have been. Let's see here. I do know that the year I hit Icon, I sold 41 that year.
41.
Yeah, 41. And
so that was 4 years ago.
And I think it was 2021. Yeah.
2020.
And that was a big year for everyone if we were actively working, right?
Right, right.
And so then I remember writing down how many weeks it took me to cap because
Okay.
there were years when it only took me 6 to 8 weeks to cap or 12 weeks to cap. And I was like, okay, now this is the number I want to beat, right? So I just kept competing with myself. But when I started, honestly, I thought I'll sell a couple houses a year, like 2 to 4, and supplement my income, and I'll be fine. I wanted to make 6 figures. And when I did, and I had so much momentum in that year that I even sold 13, right? That I looked at my husband, who was an executive at a bank, and so he's making decent money. And I said, I'm going to beat you this year with income. And he laughed at me. And he goes, well, it was a win-win. When we talk about it now, he was like, it was a win-win. Like,
That's funny.
yeah. So I did, and then I kept doing it.
So what do you think is like the biggest, difference between when you were selling 11 versus now? How many homes do you sell? How many homes will you sell this year?
I don't know. I've already hit for the year. I'm already at 22 for the year since January. And I have.
So you're definitely going to icon again this year.
Yeah.
If you haven't all, yeah, you're probably pretty close. Probably 2 or 3 more to icon. Okay.
Now I'm about halfway there. I need another 10, I think, to icon. But now it's more about how can I leverage myself even better than I already am. And the part of the story that we haven't told yet is that I've iconed for the last 4 years, and I travel a lot for work. And then I also travel a lot for maintaining our other properties. So we do spend time in Florida. We work on it in the off season, and we're both able to work from there. And the first year I did it, I had to be very okay with, if I don't sell a single house while I'm here, are we good financially? And I had to make peace with that. And I also, in that same moment of being very clear about what my intentions were, I was like, well, I don't have to go on appointments, so I should be able to hammer the phones and follow up on every single lead. And then I had people, because I have a rev share group here of agents who love to show houses for me. So I was able to partner with people co-listing at first, and then also having people as showing agents. And that worked out well for them in the slower season. And it worked out great for me because nobody questioned it. If it's all in the presentation, right, Linnea? So you can say, hey, I have a team. I'm going to be the one negotiating for you. I will be the one writing the contracts. I'll be with you every step of the way, but I can't open every single door. Sometimes I'm double booked. And that's all I had to say. And some clients I would tell, hey, I'm in Florida. We're working on our property. And I didn't have a clear date of coming home. And so then sometimes they'd be like, oh, are you still down there, or are you back yet? And it was Christmas time too. We go in that slower time of the year, right? And so I feel like making that decision helped me be more clear in what can I leverage. And the first year worked so well that we were like, okay, let's do this again. Let's do this again. Now, this last year, it became, I was homesick. So it had nothing to do with being able to leverage. It had everything to do with, I miss the comforts of my house. I love the Pacific Northwest. There were things I was missing here. So this next year, we plan on just being gone 5 weeks. And I'm excited about that too, because I get to see my grandkids live there. So I get to see them and spend time with them. But it also really forces me to think about what else can I leverage.
If you're ready to run your business like a business and finally buy back your time, you need the right tools. And that's exactly why I created my free time audit worksheet. It's the exact process I use with my top clients to find hidden hours in their week. You can grab it right now at the link in the description and start working smarter today.
Yeah. So,
yeah. And I think that's the beauty of the EXP model. I mean, you know, it's kind of what I try to like, you can't really, until someone tells their story and about how they're actually leveraging the model, you can't explain it to someone unless they understand. I mean, you came from being an office manager and seeing the typical work ethic of 99% of real estate agents. And so really right there, that's what sets you apart. You're the top 1%, likely because if you were to take everything else because you have a better work ethic, let's just be real.
Right.
Okay. Like, and I'm not trying to talk bad about our industry, of course, but it's a reality. Like it's a reality. A lot of people don't understand what it actually takes to be successful in the real estate industry. But then you made a decision to change your logo, essentially. And I kind of look at changing your logo as the biggest investment you can make.
Absolutely.
Because when you change your logo, I've changed mine 3 times now, so I won't change it again.
Right.
But when you change your logo, not only is it just an investment of money, because you got to change out all your signs, you have to like be granular, make sure you got all of your marketing change your voicemail, everything has to get changed, right? And typically it comes with new headshots, all this new content you got to put out. Right. But then you're onboarding to a new brokerage.
Right.
And then you're learning their systems and you're learning their tools. So you, even though you did that, you came and you're like, okay, now I'm going to invest in this new brokerage. I'm changing my logo. And now I am going to learn how to use the model to leverage my must have in life of having multiple streams of income.
Absolutely.
And you've now demonstrated 3 or 4 different ways that you've used the model to leverage your income. You haven't even talked about revenue share.
Oh, right. So that,
which is what I think, which just to like the reason I brought that up is because like I talked to someone yesterday and her perception was that it's all about revenue share. If it's all about, and I'm like, actually, like it's not at all. And so I think the way that you said, I got my icon. So I got stock. I used that stock to buy properties, which is bringing me more income, right? Absolutely. You used your leveraged model to give yourself more time.
Yes.
So you can close more transactions,
right?
Help more people at the same time. And there's one other way you said, I can't remember, but yeah. So you haven't even talked about revenue share yet. And I think that's just really cool to see how like you are using the model in it for you.
Right. And I have never, the people who have joined EXP with me have all come to me. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about that money that just gets deposited in my account because they're out selling houses and I get paid when they sell a house until they cap.
But it's not coming from, the cool thing is they're not paying you.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're taking an additional split or anything.
Right.
It's coming out of what's already coming out.
Right. And our model just keeps getting better as well. So now it's definitely different than it was when I joined and way better. Education is as well. So I benefited from the education in 2019. It's on a completely different level now. EXP University has so much to offer. And anything you want to learn, anything you want to do, it's there for you to learn.
So that being said, there's a lot, right? There's so many resources. There's so many things you can learn. Do you find yourself having to like remind yourself to stay focused? Because I think that's a big difference. Like to get to icon and to be a top 1%, there's got to be a certain level of focus that you have to maintain. Do you have to constantly like practice that? Because with all the cool stuff that we have, it's really easy to get shiny object syndrome and go down different rabbit holes.
So the thing that I do now is I try to really just put blinders on to all the other things, right? I've figured out what works for me. But there are also things I'm curious about, right? Because that's just how we're wired. If we're constantly I'm an ever, I don't even know the right terminology, but I learn new things all the time, right? And no matter what that is, if it's listening to Audible to books or getting into the university. Right now, I'm in coaching with Renee Rodriguez that the university offers, and it's actually a paid version. But every month I get coaching with him in a group coaching program, and just being able to do that. His program is Amplify Your Influence, and I really, that's one of the things that I was on my list for this year is how do I tell my story? How do I come across? I want to come across as a professional. It's very easy for me to get so focused on the work that I'm doing that I don't put myself out there enough. And so that's also one of my goals is to continue to network and be sociable and not just stay in my office and talk to clients. So I don't even remember what the original question was, but
you just answered. Okay. The question was
okay. So yeah, not shiny object syndrome. I would love to participate in Brandon Brittington's investment group, but I haven't tackled that one yet. And part of it is time.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a lot going on. You're an investor, you have properties, right. You have kids, you have grandkids, you have a husband, you have a business, you have a team. Yes. I mean, we could probably name a lot more things that you have. So
yeah, sometimes I just need a little time.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think is really important that because I work with a few icon agents. And it's really interesting. The thing that I find common is the fact that the problem, and you don't have this problem, I don't think, but the problem is that they have too much business and there's no time to slow down to try to get that leverage in their life. And like really, in order to scale to the next level, you have to leverage multiple things. You have to leverage your time. You have to leverage your thinking. Yeah. Like people don't even think about leveraging their thinking, but then you have to leverage systems. Those three things I think are important in order to scale to the next level. So you, as someone who has done that, you have obviously shown the power of leverage in multiple ways. What advice would you give to another icon agent who's really they're 40, 50, 60, sometimes I talked to someone the other day one of my clients that's coming in, he's at 80 homes a year.
I love that.
So like, what advice would you give to them? Because they're high producers like you, but they don't have time to slow down.
And I bet they're doing some of this already. Okay. Maybe just not to the level that I found that helps make me work. Right. But I've had the same transaction coordinator for 5 years and she's priceless. I can text her no matter where I'm at, on the road, whatever. Hey, can you do this? And she does it. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is I do have a VA and they do some of those communications for me to my database and clients. My forever clients is what I like to call them.
I call those my raving fans. I call my raving fans, the ones that will never go away. They're always mine.
So he manages my newsletter and any mass communications that I do. So we do a monthly area what's happening kind of guide. So he pulls things from different locations to put together in a newsletter. And then I just recently hired an ISA that works for me about 8 to 10 hours a week. And so they're calling incoming leads for me. And that has helped me tremendously mentally. And the reason why is because when I get inquiries, sometimes I am not able to respond to them in the best timing. And so I know that 5 days a week, those people are getting called to follow up to make sure that their needs are being met. So then once he gets a hold of them, it's, whatever it is that they need, or if they need an appointment, he's also my appointment setter. So that is helping me also.
You hired your TC first. That was your
Absolutely.
first hire.
Mhm.
And is your TC, does she have her own TC company and you're one of her clients, or does she work directly for you?
She works for Transactly,
Okay, got
so
it.
a large national company, and has just been amazing.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
So you've had her for 5 years. And then how long ago did you start having your VA help you with like your newsletter and your database management?
I honestly think we're 3 or 4 years in now.
Got it. Okay. So you did admin basically, and then a year later you did like kind of the database management side. Okay. And then what about your ISA? Just
Just a
recently, you
couple
said?
months. Yeah, 2 or 3 months. But the other thing that I haven't mentioned, well, I did mention, but this has been ongoing for honestly, probably the whole time I've had a RevShare team, is I've also asked them if they can do showings for me. And so, and then I've co-listed a few things. I tend not to do that anymore for icon reasons. um,
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I learned my lesson this year. I co-listed on my first three of the year, and it took me 3 times many transactions to cap.
yeah, I know. And when we are doing it, it's with the best of intentions,
A
and
hundred
then
percent.
we find out that it's just detrimental to ourselves. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, there's other ways to do that. But yeah,
manage it.
that was,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's what I saw. So I think that's really cool that you like, you have this, you're very methodical and kind of like the way that you're thinking about it, rather than just being like, I don't get shiny object syndrome. I have one focus. I really want to learn to be a better storyteller. And that wasn't your goal in the beginning.
Mm-mm.
So as you've gone, your goals have kind of shifted to that next level of growth that you're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely, because what, with all of this comes more responsibility.
Right.
And I want to be the person that shows up for those people who come to me. I don't
Right.
want to be MIA because I'm so transaction based that I don't have time to pick up the phone when they need me, or to I want them to know that I really genuinely care about their success. And so that takes time to develop that. And at first I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I had imposter syndrome. I'm like, I don't know. I just work hard. What are you doing different than me? I don't know. I just work hard. And that's not the answer.
Right. Well, I think that's what you told me when I first met you. I was like, so 4 times icon, how do you, I don't know, I just work hard. I'm like, no, there's a reason you're not there. It's not happenstance, right? Like
Right.
you might make icon your first year in 2021 by happenstance because the market was really good. Like
Yeah.
that's okay to say.
Right.
Okay. But to do it year after year, in a market right now where the average real estate agent has sold like one house in the last 12
Right.
months, right?
Right.
You're at 22 already. Even me, I mean, I have I love my healthy business.
Yeah.
I'm at 8, and I'm
Right.
like, I'm happy with my 8, right?
Right.
And I have 3 in contract. So I'll be
Mhm.
totally happy with my numbers this year. But there's the average real estate agent is at 1 in the last 12 months, and you're at 22.
Right.
So it's not, I just work hard.
No, it's
I mean,
talking to a
there's definitely a work
tremendous,
ethic there.
tremendous amount of people.
Yeah.
That doesn't change. Your
Right.
numbers get better as you're talking to more people.
Right.
And I went on a listing appointment yesterday, and this has happened 2 times in a row. It was not a referral for me. This is the second one. It was somebody reaching out to me to ask me for my opinion on the value of their home because they're thinking about selling soon. This particular one yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And as we talked, I realized I was not aligned with them at all.
Yeah.
And I don't want the listing. And so that's the beautiful part too, if you talk to enough people, because you don't feel like you have to transact with people that aren't aligned with you.
That is precisely what I teach in my coaching is how to get to that level of confidence, how to get to that level of abundance versus scarcity, where like the scarcity, which is most, as we know, it's most of the industry, unfortunately, it's the scarcity of, I have to take this listing because this, like, is this a horrible listing is better than no listing, or when you come to the discounted brokerages or the discount pricing, and it's like, well, this percent's better than no percent, right? And so I think that, it's like that level of confidence. So you can gain that level of confidence multiple ways. You're doing it by talking to more people, which is ultimately, there's not really a different answer, because most of the people who are struggling, I'm like, well, how many people are you talking to every day?
Right. But I have Aunt Susie that's talking about buying next month, you
Right.
know, and so they're banking on that.
Putting everything into that one, all your eggs in one basket, rather than being like, okay, I like to try to remind them. I'm like, okay, you got to remember. It's actually funny. I have an Instagram video I'm just putting out about this because it's so fresh in my mind. When we celebrate wins, because every coaching call, I have my organization, we have our calls. We always start out with celebrating wins.
Yes.
And it's so hard sometimes because the people feel like, I want to hear how many transactions you've closed.
No.
How many listing agreements you signed. And yesterday we were on with these are my icon agent and cappers. These are people in my organization, my RevShare group, who are icons and cappers. Right. So they're the higher performers. And even still, I just had to say, let's celebrate don't celebrate the stage.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Like I, as a former fitness competitor, the stage is just the reward.
Right.
The stage is the reward. But my journey to the stage was the most life-changing journey I've ever taken, ever. And so do you celebrate those kind of wins every day? Do you have like a mindset, like wins? Like, I celebrate wins. I write them down. Like, what do you do every day?
So I practice gratitude. We talked about mindset briefly in the very beginning. And honestly, this business is so hard that if you don't start the day with, and I've told this story, I don't even know how many times, Linnea, where what I do in the morning is I think about things that bring me joy. I'm grateful for those things, whether it's my husband, my cup of coffee, the sunshine, my hot tub, whatever it is. My dad called me the other day. That was part of my gratitude because he doesn't pick up the phone very often. But that, and then the other part of that is really asking God or the universe or whoever you speak to, right? Who can I help today? Bring me the people that need my help. And it works.
Obviously.
It works. Oh, it works.
Wow. Bring me the people that need my help.
Yeah. That are aligned. And then there are times when you end up and you feel like you're in this space where there's a lot of negativity. And I'll actually ask for kind people. I promise you, that is one of my affirmations. Please bring me kind people who know, like, and trust me.
Yeah, you have to be very specific with the universe. It doesn't always know. It doesn't always know exactly what you mean. So
right.
Be very
vision boards. Vision boards are also a thing. I don't have one this year. And it's not too late. I really should do it, because the first few years that I used them, almost every single thing came true. And so that's another thing that I really focused on. And now I do a goal setting session every year, and I did, and I'm in coaching with Tom Ferry too. So that's also something that I do with them every year, is setting my goals. And they're super aggressive. So my coach is like, are you sure that's what you want to do? And I'm like, yes, shoot for the stars.
I love it. So if you're putting your vision board together today,
yes,
right now, like let's say we're doing it right now.
Okay.
What's the first picture you're going to put on there?
Some me time every week.
Okay.
Is
Hey,
that a good one?
yes, it's whatever you want,
Right?
whatever that needs to be. Sometimes I wonder if I have so much me time because like if you look at my calendar, I have it all color
Yeah,
coordinated, and I have
same.
like the graphite is like my me time, and I look at it, and then on Google Calendar it always like tells you how you allocate your time. Gray is like this.
That's okay. You're successful as well.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
works.
I love my me time though.
It
And
works.
I've intentionally designed my business and my everything to work into so I can have more me time. I love me time.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing to do. So,
Fitness is also high on my list. Like
oh,
I've had some health struggles, and so to be as healthy as I can be, one of the things that I really struggle with is food prep. And so that's been a recurring, okay, you're going to get this together. You're going to do this, you're going to eat better. And so that's something that I'm really working on this year. So
you know what's really helped me in food? Because I mean, a lot of people. It's interesting because I'm obviously in very good shape, and a lot of people just assume that I have it all together. It's weird. It's weird. They assume I have it all together, and I don't. I do not. But one thing that's really helped me with food is I actually have a food log,
nice.
and in the log, it's not just about what I'm eating, but it's about how I feel.
That's important.
So, because I think like a lot of times when it comes to food, it's about the relationship that you have with
Mhm.
it. And if you don't really understand how food is making you feel, like
Mhm.
I write things out like satisfied or hungry or like
Mhm.
lethargic or lazy. And then I'll even write down, oh, I shouldn't eat this. It kind of gave me a little bit of,
Right.
yeah.
Right. No,
So
my
I like,
stomach was hurting for days. I backed
yeah,
off of one of the supplements that I had been taking, and
yeah.
it was a miracle. It was
Yeah,
great.
you're like all of a sudden, and so like so you go, I go all into like tracking
Yes.
my macros, making sure I'm hitting all my protein, but not actually thinking about along the way throughout the day how
Right.
is food making me feel, when am I getting tired, like I'm starting to really be able to tie what I eat throughout the morning to like
Mhm.
that 2 o'clock or that 3 o'clock slump.
Right.
So that's really helped me
That's
with
good.
my food is like writing down how I feel, and I like being able to put those
Mhm.
pieces together because I'm a very systems oriented
I
person.
know.
So I have to know how all the pieces fit together.
I
So
love that you're writing it in a book too, because I've struggled
girl,
with
I
like
know.
my fitness pal. I'll do it faithfully for like 2 days or one and
Yeah.
a half
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. I am
Then I'm like,
I
no.
the problem with my fitness pal is you can't track your feelings.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No, I like the
It's
book
not good.
thing.
Write it down. Go to a dollar store, $1.
I have so many. I like that. I really do. I have so many
I'm
notebooks.
all about the dollar store.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, so I like write down, I'm logging my food in here so I can learn more about how I feel, right? And then
Mhm.
like here's what I drank here's the coffee I drank, here's how I feel, here's the time that I ate, the next time I ate, because then I can kind of
That's
see
important
differences
too.
between like what I ate for breakfast and then how long. Like yesterday I noticed like I didn't have my regular breakfast that I eat because I just hadn't gone to the grocery store.
Right.
And then like I ate something else and like I usually eat five meals a day. And I ate 3 meals within a period of 2 hours because I was so hungry
Oh my
because
goodness.
my body was like, what are you doing to me? Because it's so systemized. And
Yes.
yeah. So anyway, there you go. Little tip.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's just say, someone, give a, 30-second Lisa Ray elevator pitch. Who are
Oh
you?
man.
Who why should people give you a call?
Mhm.
What, Lisa Ray elevator pitch.
I care. I'm going to do it a little differently because I'm a rebel. Um,
Do it, girl.
so I think that part of being able to get the clients that you want is assuming the sale, right? Assuming that they're going to say yes for starters. Okay, that's number one. Number two is really trusting yourself that you are the best person for that person.
Yep.
That nobody else will care as much as you do. Nobody has more integrity than you do. Nobody will give them the attention they need and try and relieve that level of stress than you do. And not that there's not other professionals in your field that operate the same way, but you have to believe that you are good for that client. And like I said, this appointment yesterday, not aligned. Sorry.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple of weeks ago too. I was like, I think I was telling you about
Yes,
it. I was like,
you did.
I
Yeah.
just don't feel like I want to try that hard for
Right.
this one,
Well, and
you
sometimes
know?
they're not receptive to what we know will help them sell their home, right? So on a listing side, right?
Right.
If they're not going to do the things that we know that will help them sell in today's market, where there's so much inventory in our area, if they're not going to be willing to prepare their home and do the things that we suggest for them to do, and because we have solutions about the financing piece of it, right? We have creative ways that they can get that done without it costing them money out of pocket. So if they're not willing to even go down that road and invest that time and money, I can't help them.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Especially today.
Right. Yeah. This is
Especially.
not 2021.
Mm. This market is definitely not for the faint of heart, either buyers or sellers.
Right.
Because on the buy side too, like, I mean, like I've just had 4 buyers with inspections, and all the inspections have looked the same right now.
Mhm.
And so like inspections are just kind of, buyers are scrutinizing inspections even more. But on top of that, like a couple of my buyers that I put in contract, like we wrote 3 or 4 offers before we actually got them accepted. So it's like, just
Right.
because we have this inventory and just because we have this like buyer's market, it doesn't mean it's easy for either side,
That
right?
is very accurate.
Sellers get to deal with the stress of like home sitting a long time. We don't have any
Mhm.
showings. We don't know what to do. And then you have those who have so many, and it feels like we're in the 2021 market
Right.
again. And then I also the other day compared it to, and tell me if you agree with this, listing agents right now, for the most part,
Mhm.
we are having to be the buyer's agents in 2021.
Right.
Because if you think about 2021 and you had a buyer, you're essentially like trying to build the best possible relationship with that
Yeah.
listing agent so they could help
Right.
so they could influence the seller, right?
Right.
And now it's like, now
Mhm.
listing agent, I'm like calling, oh, you showed my house, I'm calling that buyer's agent 3 or 4 times. I'm
Hello.
like,
It's
and
me.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, hello, I'm right here. Can you please influence your buyer to write an offer on my listing? And so
Right.
it's like, now we're kind of like shifting roles there, and it's a really kind of a fun time, I think, in real estate.
I'm about to put together a reference sheet of agents I've worked with so that they can I can shoot that over with my offer.
Yeah, be like, here you go,
I'm great to work with.
ask all these people, here's my resume.
Exactly.
I'll be on there. You can put me on
Oh,
there.
thanks.
And then so do you think, like, now as a real estate agent, we understand the market, but as an investor,
Uh-huh.
what do you think about this market?
I wish I had a couple $1,000,000 to spend on real estate right now. I honestly would be buying everything I could.
You don't think that the prices, if the interest rates continue to go up, like, because I had heard someone had said like interest rates should be somewhere around like 9%. They could be around 9%. I don't know. This is
Mhm.
it. Can't predict it. So don't anyone
Right.
quote me on this, just so you know. But like, what if interest rates do rise that high, and home prices continue to reflect that?
That is
Would you still invest?
excellent question. And as long as you're in it for the long haul and not trying to sell it in the next year or two, it's okay.
Okay.
It really
Yeah,
is.
that's how I feel
Lock it
too.
in. Because
Yeah.
if the reverse happens and the rates go down, prices are going to continue to rise. And we live in the Pacific Northwest, which is a very unique area anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are definitely micro markets. I have a handful of California clients right now, and they're like, "Well, how's the market? How's the market?" And I have one couple that they're looking in very rural areas where houses
Okay.
are sitting longer. And I'm like, it's not the same. If you're looking at data that's the Seattle market, that's not the same as the data in Kitsap County. And so just being able to explain that and there are areas, like I said, I was going to invest in Texas. Texas is slowing down. Great. Let me buy while it's down. Right.
Right. Right.
But I just believe in continuing to make that progress. And as long as the rents will cover the as long as it cash flows, essentially, you're okay as long as you're going to hold on to it. The only time you lose money, even with the stock market, is if you sell when it's down.
Right. That's kind of this. It's the same as if you're buying a primary residence, right?
Right.
You gotta imagine
Right.
yourself living here for at least 7 to 10 years right
Right.
now. Like, if you don't, I mean, I've lived in my house now for 7 years, and I'm like, okay, we'll probably be here for another year, maybe a year and a half. And then I'm like, I got some good equity out of that.
Yes, absolutely. And it's amazing how quickly that happens. And again, especially in our area.
Yeah. So true. Okay. So if you could have lunch with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
So you sent these questions over to me, and I was thinking about this, and I honestly know, like, the number one person is my grandfather, and he passed away when we moved here. When we moved back to Washington State, he had already developed. He already had Alzheimer's, and so what I would give to be able to sit down with him now, if he had a clear mind, it would be priceless. And it's interesting because my dad and I talk about this because he was such a special person and just never met a stranger, just joyful, just a wonderful person. So that's number one. And I really struggled to come up with more, Linnea. But you know who I love to listen to is Obama. Just if I could sit down with Michelle and Barack and have, I think that would just make my day.
Yeah. I mean, he was a very good speaker for sure.
Yeah.
And so was Michelle.
So classy, honestly.
Yeah. I think they were great speakers. So, okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Where can people get a hold of you? Like agents, if they have questions for you, can they call you, reach out to you? People, if they actually if they want to buy or sell, where do you specialize? That sort of thing.
I've sold homes all over Western Washington. So depending on the circumstance, I live in Gig Harbor. Absolutely love selling houses in Gig Harbor. But it's a smaller population. So I definitely am open to other areas. You can call me at 253-882-5402 or text me. I'm on social media, all the platforms. Just look for me there, Lisa Wray. And I'd love
with a W.
With a W, yes.
Yeah, Lisa Wray with a W. W-R-A-Y.
That's right.
For if anyone just happens to listen and they're not watching.
Yes, that's true. Thank you. Yeah. That's a great tip.
Okay, cool. Well, Lisa, do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave for anyone who might be watching this?
Just know that if it's hard today, that doesn't mean tomorrow will be. Truly. It's
true. That's such good wisdom. I love that.
And thank you for having me on here. It was an honor.
Thank you for coming on here. It's awesome. I love to hear more of your story. Every time I talk to you, I learn more, and I'm like, oh God, I just love her so much. So
thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Wray is proof that you can be both a top producer and an investor building wealth for the future. And that it starts with how you think about leverage. Lisa, thank you so much for sharing your story. Now, what I want to hear from you, what is the first thing you will leverage in your business? Drop your answer in the comments and let's get this conversation going. And I will see you on the next video.